clip or not to clip? That is the question.
Tramtendo.
What's going on, guys? DJ Av here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use soft clipping to get louder mixes without destroying your dynamic range, as well as talk about digital clipping and if louder is better, the Loudness War. So before I even get into that, I got a question for you guys. Do you think louder beats are better, or do you think that it is important to have the great dynamic range instead of having a really loud beat? Let me know in the comment section. I don't even know if that should be the right question, but hey, answer it. It's up to you guys. We're in the DAW right now, and I have my analog audio and digital interface right in front of us, as well as a plugin that is engaged right now, which is Presswerk by Yuhi. I will have all the links in the description box for the plugins that I'm using. I also have the glue compressor at the bottom over here, as well as Boost Pro. So now we're gonna pay attention to the master track, because once I disengage Presswerk, you will see that the track is clipping. Also, if I show you on my audio interface, it is also clipping in the analog world as well. So let's play it again. Ever so slightly, but it is not as crazy as it seems on the DAW. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to show you this right here. This little button over here on Presswerk is soft clipping. So if I disengage that and play it, you will notice that he'll be clipping still. Okay, so I know people are like, what's the point here? So I'm going to engage soft clipping, and let's see what happens in the DAW. It's actually slightly louder, as I have made some adjustments to the preset that I made for this. That's why it says test preset. But as you can see in the master track, it is no longer clipping in the digital world. Mind you, that soft clipping again slowly but surely kills those harsh transients, balancing them out so that way it will not be apparent in the digital world. But in the analog world, what's happening though? As you can see, it's still clipping in the analog world, but in the digital world, it is fine. Okay, so there's no real secret to this. Music is louder than it was in the past, and that's because the tools have changed. When you are mixing in the box, you have capabilities of infinite headroom due to things like 32-bit of float in DAWs, depending on which DAW you use, versus the analog world where you are limited to 16-bit linear, where the maximum headroom would reach at a certain standpoint, causing for digital clipping, or distortion is what we call it. Now, we use soft clipping to avoid these things because soft clipping smooths out those really harsh transients. However, digital clipping can be apparent and will happen while using soft clipping, but in a way it sounds really good to your audience. Now, to me, and personally, do I feel that soft clipping is necessary for you to get a good, strong mix? No, because I go by the philosophy, if it sounds good, it is good. So do what you think sounds good, and perhaps it will translate to your audience. Now, your average listener is not going to notice the difference in between digital clipping unless it is very apparent. A lot of people will know when something is really distorted. I mean, the average person may not know the terminology, but as music producers, we will pay attention to it more than your natural audience. So going back to that, that is how soft clipping works in a nutshell. It's a good way to get those nice loud mixes, but it just still depends on the listener if it sounds good to them, because in many people, I'm pretty sure a lot of people will hop in the comment section, and I really want y'all to have this debate. Does that matter to you? Do you think that matters to the listener? Because they probably would not, because they probably wouldn't notice it. They're just trying to enjoy the track. If I'm gonna go ahead and pull up Boost Pro, which doesn't have an obvious soft clip option, but it does have a option called brick. which is right here. Now, if I was to turn on Boost Pro, is it going to be clipping in the analog world here on the hardware?
Barely.
Now, if you will notice, it's not soft clipping because it's brick walling. So it is withholding it from passing the threshold of 0. So, you know, we'll get more into brick wall compression. I do prefer that sound, but obviously most people are going to listen to the louder track. So soft clipping does help and brick walling does help, but brick walling does have a pretty nasty trade-off as the punch won't be there because, again, it is limiting every peak to 0. So anything passes that 0 threshold, like the kick drum or whatever else, is going to be a little difficult for the track to have a nice dynamic flow to it, but it is being withheld under 0. Now, for last but not least, of course, I'm going to use the glue compressor. And right now, I'm going to engage soft clipping on the glue compressor. And as you can see, that soft clipping changed the overall dynamics in the digital world. Is no longer digitally clipping. Now that is very useful for, like, I guess, like, so people won't flip out in the comment sections and say, oh man, well, you're clipping, so you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Keep in mind, when you stream videos on YouTube, they do get compressed a little further, so it'll be a little inaccurate. And yeah, I'm outside. I do know that that's because I'm flying my drone. But again, whatever sounds good is good. Your average person is not going to notice that. Like your average music listener that has crap to do or shit to do with the music business or engineering is not going to notice that at all, unless they have some type of indication on whatever musical device that they have. And I'm pretty sure that'd be too petty in their world where they just want to listen and turn up and be lit. So as you can see, this is a very useful technique for getting loudness out of your tracks without digital clipping. However, in the analog world or in the hardware world, it is much differently translated. So you have to be very mindful not to overdo it. But it is very good, especially if you're like doing these tutorials like I do and people like to troll you in the comment section. But anyways, keep the trolling alive and leave a comment and let me know how you feel about this topic, because I really want to hear yet again. I am DJ Ab and thank you for your time. Traptendo, we are out of here.
Traptendo.